Now let's go through the 8 steps of this vegan and gluten-free butternut squash soup recipe. For step number 1, I'll prep and roast the butternut squash. The way I'll do that is to first slice the top off of this butternut squash and then I'll cut it lengthwise. I'll remove the seeds from inside the squash, and don't worry, I will be setting those aside to roast at a later time. I'll use a knife to score the flesh inside the squash, which means I'll just cut a checkered pattern on the inside of each half. I'll drizzle each of the halves with the 2 tablespoons of extra virgin olive oil. I'll roast the squash in my oven for about 1 hour at 375 degrees Fahrenheit. And then once the squash has cooled off, after I've removed it from the oven, I'll scoop out the soft flesh on the inside of the squash and then I'll discard the skin. While the butternut squash is roasting in my oven, I'll move on to step number 2, which is to chop the yellow onion. For step number 3, I'll roast the chopped yellow onion with the 1 tablespoon of ginger powder, 1/2 teaspoon of the salt, and 1 tablespoon of the vegan butter in my soup pot that's all ready to go on my stovetop. I'll let the onion mixture cook over medium-low heat for about 5 minutes. For step number 4, I'll add the cooked butternut squash into the soup pot along with an additional 1/2 teaspoon of the salt and the 4 cups of the vegan soup broth. I'll cover the soup pot, bring the soup mixture to a boil, and then reduce it to simmer on medium-low heat for about 20 minutes. While the butternut squash soup is simmering on my stovetop, I'll move along to step number 5, which is to slice the 1/2 cup of leek grounds and chop the Granny Smith apple and fresh sage. For step number 6, I'll prepare the leek and apple relish, which I'll be topping off the butternut squash soup with. The way I'll prepare the relish is to cook 3 tablespoons of the plant butter with the leeks, the Granny Smith apple, the apple cider vinegar, the maple syrup, the remaining 1/2 teaspoon of salt, the 1/2 cup of sliced almonds, and the chopped fresh sage. I'll let the leek and apple relish cook in a separate saucepan over medium heat for about 5 minutes. For step number 7, I'll transfer the butternut squash soup from the soup pot into my blender and blend it for several minutes until it's completely smooth. And then for step number 8, the final step of this butternut squash soup recipe, I'll dish up a bowl of the soup. I'll add 1 scoop of the leek and apple relish onto the top, dig into it, and let you know what I think, even though I've already had this soup and I know that I love it.